Hi, this is Mike from Master International. In this brief video, I'll be showing you how to create and use criteria in your assessment projects, as well as some of the more advanced features. This is the criteria list. It shows you all of the criteria that you have created within Metis. We'll start off by creating a new criteria for an opto test. So click on the New button, enter the title and the description, and click on the Next button. Selecting the test type from the drop-down will list all of the available test scales. In most cases, you'll want to include all of the scales, and these are selected by default, so we'll leave those as they are. Click on the Finish button to create your criteria. Once the criteria has been completed, you'll be automatically taken to the criteria details page, where you can draw on each of the scales to actually create the criteria. You can also set the priority of each of your criteria. And finally, once you're happy with your criteria, click on the Save button to save those changes. Once you're back on your assessment, applying the new criteria is very easy. Click on the Add Criteria button in the workflow, select your criteria, and click OK to add it to the assessment. Once a criteria has been added to an assessment, it is available to be used whenever a response from the assessment is used in an analysis or a report. You can also use the criteria on the assessment details view to see what the match percentage is on each result. I'll just make the screen slightly smaller so you can see this. And here you can see the match percentage. If I drop this down to 0, it will show all of the cards with a match percent. If I set the filter to 90%, for example, then the list will be filtered and only show those with a score above 90%. I can also set the number of respondents to only get the top list of respondents based on the number I enter. On the reports area, you can now see that the criteria appears in the list. Select the criteria and generate a report to include the criteria in that report. Criteria can also be used in the analysis view. Select the completed responses, click on Analysis, and then you'll see that the criteria appears on the left-hand side of the screen. Select the criteria, and you'll see that it's then applied to the visualizer. One of the more advanced but very powerful tools that Metis has is the ability to create criteria based off of existing results. This allows you to test your current team and use their answers to create the criteria used to assess people applying to become a new team member. Here I have an MPA as an example, and I'll show you how to do this. First, you need to set all of the colors for each of the responses to be the same. And the one thing that you'll notice after you've done this and clicked Update Analysis is that the dots that indicate where on each scale each response scores now change to an average range. This is what's used to create the criteria. To create the criteria, simply click Save as Criteria, select the people's names, and click on them. This will then load the criteria into the now familiar criteria view, and you can edit these, set the priority, and then save. If you're not sure if the criteria you have chosen is correct, or if you need to get approval for your criteria from a different stakeholder in the assessment, you can request criteria feedback. This will send a link to the specified person to invite them to fill in more of the criteria online in their browser. You can choose to have their criteria as a copy, or you can choose to allow their criteria to overwrite the existing. It would allow a hiring manager to change the criteria as they like and have it be automatically applied to the assessment. This concludes our Working with Criteria tutorial. Thank you for watching.